Hello everyone, Harry here. I've got some tea, I've got some crisps, which I will edit out, so don't worry about any rustling or munching or anything like that. And, well, it's time for Enter the Dragon. This has been this is pretty much a request from Berserker88X. And I was going to get to it eventually, but it's a request, so I'll do it now. And I've got a lot to say about it, but I've got even more to say about major updates that have happened to for Kung Fu Panda 3 since I did Crane on a Wire. It took me a minute to remember what I've done. As you can probably tell by my voice, I'm kind of recovering from hay fever, just tiredness and everything. So I apologise. I apologise. My voice sounds a bit scratchy, which is why I've got the tea. But yeah, Enter the Dragon is pretty much, as the name would imply, it is a homage. Okay, maybe not the episode, but the episode's title was a homage to the really, really famous martial arts movie from the 70s, which had Bruce Lee in it. I admit I haven't actually seen this film. Sorry, that film. It's kind of always been on the back burner for me personally because I love martial arts films. One of my favourite film series is about a panda that can use martial arts, I guess. So like films like Raid and Raid 2 and sequences from Daredevil, stuff like that is stuff I really enjoy, so that's a film I've got to get to one day. And this is actually the first and only two-part episode of Legend of Awesomeness. There is another one, Emperor's Rule, but that, I think that's been like indefinitely like delayed, because like I've said it before, but like Legend of Awesomeness seems to have died of quite a horrible death of just like fading into obscurity. But like that's an episode that was announced in like June of like 2013 and it just still hasn't come out yet. Honestly, I think it might be just because of lack of viewers. I don't know. I mean, like for Nickelodeon, like critical acclaim, they've never really cared about that, to be honest. I don't think DreamWorks have either. But like, I don't know. I can't think of a reason why they haven't released it. I just think it will probably be I don't think it's ever going to come out, honestly. The premise sounded a bit crappy, so it's probably a good thing. And here's Poe being as delightfully obnoxious as always. Actually, if I'm going to go into the plot for a little bit, Poe is like, this is probably the most obnoxious he ever gets. I mean, like, there was a comment from a person a couple of weeks ago, on the Crane on the Wire one, that as an episode, Face Full of Fear, I think it was called, that they said it was the worst episode because Poe was really obnoxious, but that hasn't come out in America. But I think he said it was Ukraine it had come out and he'd seen it, and because he can understand Russian, he said it was just awful. But like, I can't imagine. I mean, like he's pretty much learning the lesson that he learned in the first film, and I think that's really, really kind of backwards thinking, honestly. And I don't. Although we do get a guest appearance from Fung. And I've said it before, I say it again. I do legitimately like enjoy, ironically, how awful Fang is as a character. Now, this is kind of like, I mean, like I just said about the first film, but like this series, it's always been said by the producers of this series that it takes place after the first film, but before the second, because it's supposed to kind of show how Poe changes. Because you know, like in the second film, Poe is wiser. He's actually thinner, which is a nice touch from the model in the second film. You know that scene where Ping says to Poe, try saying that 5 times fast, where he says, "You've lost weight." The model has actually lost weight, which is a really nice visual touch. It kind of like this series is supposed to kind of show that progression, and like it doesn't. I'm gonna be honest, but like there's a weird kind of line like later on. I might have already talked over it. That actually mentions that Poe has defeated Lord Shen, so that obviously, well, not implies, it confirms that this either this episode or the series as a whole takes place after the second film. Which, I'm sorry, no, oh come on, seriously, no, stop doing that. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that the Poe in the second film, who found out about the near genocide of his race and like grew closer to Tigress, all of these other characters, I refuse to believe that this is the same character. I mean, like, you can kind of like, I could accept, yeah, okay, maybe after the first film, the success has gone a little bit to his head, and it could, you could use the series to kind of show him realizing he's not invincible. He's still like, he's Poe. He's pretty much Michelangelo. Like, I've been getting into that internet reviewer, Jeremy, whatever his name is, the guy who talks against the red background usually, and he said about Kung Fu Panda 2, Poe is pretty much Michelangelo the Ninja Turtles. He's still cool, he can still kick some ass, but he's clumsy, he's goofy, and he's funny, and like, yeah, I totally agree with that. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the Michelangelo character that Poe was in the first film go from Michelangelo to legitimately, like, hardcore. And he kind of does in the second film, because he's brave, he does some really cool things, but like the third film, it'd be interesting to see some development in that. But like, this kind of like, it kind of regresses his character to like an uncomfortable degree, because like, I'm sorry, I can't see it. I sound a lot more annoyed than I actually am, and I'm not. I probably shouldn't do that, because I don't want to sound like I'm doing it for dramatic effect. But it just kind of annoys me where like this laziness to like just regressing the characters. It's kind of what Marvel, the Marvel universe, obviously, Iron Man, he changed as a character through all the films. Like in the animated spin-off they did with the Hulk in it as well. Tony Stark was back to being Iron Man 1 Tony Stark, not Tony Stark after the Avengers. It was like a character regression just for this, because they were too lazy and wanted to cash in. And it just kind of seems to me that this is what this is, and it doesn't make sense, because one, it's clearly not doing that well, because it's been cancelled apparently, like I said earlier. But like, I think that Berserker, I'm pretty sure, I'm sorry I haven't got your comments like in front of me, but I'm pretty sure you said this would have been good as an hour special. It might have been someone else, and if it's someone else, I apologise. But like, this could have been a good like an hour and a half special, okay, maybe more of an hour special, showing Poe get reckless and like big-headed about his victory in the first film, then make a huge mistake and like then get to the level of maturity, like get his head down and become mature like he's in the second. But like, it doesn't seem to want to do that, and that honestly would have been really interesting to me. Because it adds layers to Poe's character. It makes him not like that kind of cliche of characters where they're kind of immature and they become wise. That would have been interesting. He becomes immature again because he's got what he's wanted and he feels like he's invincible. Having brought down a peg or two, just to realise, oh, you know what, I'm not that great. I'm going to, train and learn all of that, and then I can become the Dragon Warrior that I saw in my dream, in the first film. Okay, getting back to more events that have happened for the series recently. It's now less than a year till the third film comes out, and I will admit my interest kind of waned a little bit, but like I downloaded the soundtracks again recently. I kind of lost them for a long time, and I listened to them again, and it just my interest just like sparked up straight away. I think it was the track "More Cannons" that made me realise, oh, you know what? I forgot how legitimately cool this franchise is, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, people. I'm not ashamed. You never know. By the end of this, my interest will have died a death. I will admit I was a bit apprehensive about doing this because it's nearly an hour, and I don't think I could carry that for an hour. But like, we'll see. I mean, like, I think I'm doing alright so far, but like, it's going to be hard because usually like the Legends of Awesomeness episodes are 25 minutes, something like that. I think the line's coming up in a minute about Lord Shen. I'll try and talk over it because I don't want to hear it. There's something really interesting has happened recently. Last time in Crane in a While, I don't think I mentioned that. I might have mentioned it, I can't really remember. The film got pushed back to March of next year. But actually recently it's been pulled back. Let me get this right. It was pushed back to March. Now it's moved back up to January. So now it's coming out in January. I don't have the exact date, but I want to say January like 15th. This is pretty interesting because, like, as a financial thing, it makes sense. Like, Star Wars would have come out the month before. It would, like, the Star Wars hype train. There you go, there's that line, the Lord Shen line, I literally just heard it then. Anyway, the Star Wars hype train is will be real at that point, and, like, let's be honest, any film going up against that it just won't. It's just not going to do anything. And, so, like, by January, I think, by mid-January, Star Wars will still be in there, because let's be honest, it's going to make enough money that that Disney will keep it there. But, keep it in cinemas. But, like, putting in January, I don't know if people are familiar with, like, film industry and film release dates, but, like, January as a month for film is pretty dead usually. Like, it's usually just, like, crappy romantic comedies, and just, like, this is where you put a film that you're not faithful in and you just want it to not make a lot of money. Now, this is interesting placement because I think this could be a good release time for Kung Fu Panda 3. January, like I said, is pretty dead, and it's less time to wait, and there's less competition, so this means more money. They can hype it up through Christmas, and that's just, for me, that's risky as well, because that people after Christmas won't have a lot of money. They'll be a bit kind of, I don't really want to do anything too much turkey, or whatever, or vegetarian turkey if you're vegetarian. I don't discriminate because I want people to like me. That's the only reason I do this, and yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. I will be seeing it, obviously, day one. I'm probably not day one. Actually, I've got a bit of advice for people. It's what I'm going to do for Avengers 2 in a couple of days' time. If you want to see a film and you don't want to see it with children, you go in the morning and go on a weekday in the morning if you can, because people will be children will be at school, and it pretty much means the place is dead. And when I say in the morning, I mean like 8 o'clock. It's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up specifically for this. I'll try and make the review later in the day. And I'm only doing like that because I want to let you people know what I thought about it and if it is worth your time. Because I want the max amount of people to watch it, really. I've got some bad news about Kung Fu Panda 3, really. That's it kind of, a little part of me was like, oh, really? Like, I just like... It was one of the things I was really looking forward to was Mads Mikkelsen's performance as the Collector. Unfortunately, Jennifer Yu Nelson revealed in I think it was a Chinese magazine when she was talking about the film, that Mads has actually left the film because of scheduling conflicts. And I was gutted because I love Mads Mikkelsen, you know, like The Hunt, Casino Royale, stuff like that. He's a really strong character actor. And he can be threatening, he can be sly, he's slick, you know, all of that. I think he could be a good contrast to Tai Lung and Lord Shen, which are all about really intimidating people in different ways. Tai Lung is intimidating because he's strong and fast and he's ferocious. Lord Shen is intimidating because he's cunning, he's always got a plan. But I felt like Mads could have done the slimy, behind-the-scenes character really, really well. Apparently, he's been replaced by J.K. Simmons of, well... I think everybody knows who J.K. Simmons is if you've watched any of the Raimi Spider-Man films or if you've played Portal. In Spider-Man, he was J. Jonah Jameson, the best part of the Raimi films, clearly. And he was Cave Johnson in Portal 2, and also the best thing about Portal 2, who's really funny in that. Apparently, because I said before that J.K. Simmons had his role confirmed in I think in the Crane on a Wire, well, might have been even before that, and I thought like he was just going to be like a supporting character. No, apparently it was Mads had been like not been in the film's cast for ages. So like when I first heard about it, that must have been when he was replaced, because J.K. Simmons has been in the booth recording since like early February, I think, and I'm excited. J.K. Simmons could be really, really interesting because like I don't know if anyone saw it, but Whiplash was. Oh my god, Whiplash was like one of the greatest films of last year, and J.K. Simmons just dominated it. And basically the film was about he's a drum tutor teaching a student how to be a jazz drummer. And J.K. Simmons is brutal in that film. He's nasty, he's conniving, he's sly, but everything I wanted in a villain for like Mads, I think J.K. Simmons could do it. J.K. Simmons, I think he can do it because he is a great character actor. Would I still prefer Mads? Yes, obviously, because I just feel like Mads might be able to do it a bit better. I'm not shitting on I'm not dumping on J.K. Simmons at all. He's a fantastic actor, don't get me wrong. I was just personally looking forward to Mads because he brings a totally different levity to the character, I feel. I don't know anything about the character, but knowing that Mads was going to play it, it gave me an idea of what this character could be. He could be this sly, behind-the-scenes kind of character. And I still, like I said, I still think J.K. Simmons could do that. I think he might... It might just be a louder character, and while that will be not different for the series. I mean, like, Tai Lung and George Jen do pretty loud things. Like, I don't know. It hasn't killed my hype for it a little bit. It hasn't. I don't know what to expect now, and that is kind of a good thing in a way, because now I don't know what J.K. Simmons is going to do. He's got a great variety in his performances. Now, back to kind of release date. It was announced quite a while ago by some internet reviewer. I don't know who it was, I'm afraid, but Home, the DreamWorks film which came out a couple of months ago, actually had a short from I think it was the opening 5 minutes of Kung Fu Panda 3, I think, or just a trailer for it. It was going to show in front of Home, and I was going to go see it and not watch Home, then come back and just pretty much give my thoughts on it. But apparently it only did it for like 1 or 2 showings, and that it won't be showing anymore. The short was called Panda Paws, and the basic premise of the short was, just from what I'm reading, was that it had Rebel Wilson's character and Bao, who I don't know who's voicing him, but he's a little child panda. They were fighting over who was going to go see Po, and then it just cuts to Po, who's sailing to the panda village. That was basically the short, and it was very, very disappointing to not see it, because I wanted to see what the animation was going to look like. I wanted to see how the film was going to look. I do actually have some nice little trivia for Kung Fu Panda 3 based on visuals, if you do want to hear it. Well, you are going to hear it, because it's, I don't really want to watch Enter the Dragon. I'd rather be looking on the Kung Fu Panda wiki to look up some information. You should definitely use this site if you can. I think, for me, Kung Fu Panda 2 still looks amazing as an animated film. It's going to be interesting to me how this looks, how the character's model's going to change, how is that all going to look. From what I'm reading here, the Jennifer Yu Nelson and one of the producers, at a panel at the Beijing Film Festival, she said that the authenticity of the film had gone up because of Chinese influence. You know, how they have the production companies have kind of merged to create the first American and Chinese, the first ever in history, the first co-production on a film, and they said the research has just gone up to phenomenal degrees. And I'm excited. That's what some of the things I loved about the first 2 films was the look, how they got the Chinese influence in, and all they did for those 2 films is go to China and just talk to people, look at the scenery, look at specific locales. Like for Gongmen, they based that entire kind of look at Gongmen on one city. That's interesting, but now they have first-hand experience. They have actual people who might live there. I want to see this. It's going to be as a visual thing. I think it could look really nice. And apparently the level of detail in the animation has gone up dramatically. So from what I'm reading here during one of the panels, this is a quote. The figure of rendering hours for the first one was 20 million. The second one was 50 million. And for the third film, it's now 60 million, which is I'm excited. I want to see the third data. I want to see the lighting. That got me so hyped, because I'm actually recently I've started studying animation on my course at my college, and it's harder than I thought it was going to be, and it excited me so much, because I knew the level of detail they're now working with. I can't wait as a visual treat. I just can't wait for the visual treat, rather. I'm getting so hyped I can't even say words. Getting back to the episode, I've realised I've kind of got really off track. I do like Key Pa's design, and the idea of a dragon being there is interesting. I'm sorry, but Key Pa is not an interesting character in any way, shape or form, but the idea was nice, and it wasn't... Nice one, Poe. Seriously, this is our hero, ladies and gentlemen. He's supposed to be likeable. Couldn't fail anymore. I've got nothing to say about the episode. I'm just watching it and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk about this. Going back to Kung Fu Panda 3, it's been announced, the Kung Fu Panda Wiki, I had a conversation with them on Twitter, where I learned about Mads not being in the film anymore. They basically said the trailer is going to be out soon, and someone who is close to the team, or is on the team, has seen it and said it was amazing. I can't imagine what's going to be in the trailer, though. I imagine they might use some of the Panda Paws footage, like, just to hype it up. I don't want it to be like the trailer for Kung Fu Panda 2, which was... that was the teaser trailer. I don't want it to be like that, because it is a teaser trailer, which was basically Poe talking to the audience. I really don't want to see that. I don't like trailers like that. And can I just say now, if DreamWorks do that thing that people do recently, where they release teasers for the trailers, don't do that. Really don't. I hate that. People, like, film companies now rely on hype to get people to watch them, and I appreciate that. But, like, especially recently, the Batman vs... Oh, Fung shaking his head there. The Batman vs Superman trailer, which had the teaser for the trailer, then released the trailer later. I'm sorry, don't do that. I hate that, because it's so pointless as well, because it doesn't show anything new. It doesn't even hint at what, like, the film's about. That's what the trailer's for. Don't release teasers for it. I hate that. Now, of course, that's where the first episode would end, there, with Keepar going in a puff of smoke and Ping and Poe leaving the Valley of Peace. This reminds me a lot of that scene in the first film where Poe walks away and there's the sad music, because Poe's sad about leaving his friends behind to die and everybody else to die. And, like, Ping's surprisingly upbeat and surprisingly supportive of the fact that his son is a loutish idiot who's now doomed everyone ever. There's actually something about the franchise that I haven't actually talked about in any capacity. Is a little mini-series that DreamWorks Animation did for the first film. It was kind of like an early marketing tactic. I don't know if they do so much now, like for other films, but it's the first I've heard of this type. They released a 6-chapter visual novel. So not visual novel, kind of like a small animation that had 6 micro chapters, which was called Legend of the Legendary Warrior, and it was basically there to establish Poe's character, because the whole thing is about him daydreaming himself as another person. I don't know if anyone played the Kung Fu Panda game. The first chapter, I think, of that was Poe's dream where he was being someone else, and the whole point of the that thing was as a tutorial and all of that. But it also showed Poe in this hat and this jacket and everything. It was a bit lame, but kind of funny in a lame way. The mini-series is basically the kind of the same thing, and it's just every single little chapter he fights people, he meets people he likes, and it's just really, really silly, but it's nice fun. I might cover it one day. Nice one, Shifu. You criticised Poe for being lame. You just told the worst threat you've ever faced how to win. I'm getting off Kung Fu Panda entirely for a bit. I just want to talk about future plans I have for the channel, just because we've got a little bit of a moment here where basically Shifu is being tortured, nothing important. I just want to talk about the future of the channel for a little bit, because I'm kind of getting to more of a schedule where I know exactly what I'm going to do. I bought the other day I bought a hoppage, and what I want to do with this is start using it to make use my own footage for reviews. So from my other reviews like Spyro, Mario and Sonic, I used old footage from my old channel, Middleman Comms, and I don't really want to do that anymore because the aspect ratios on the videos keep changing and it looks kind of really awkward. From now on, I'll be using only my own footage for the review, so like it looks nice and it stays the same way. I've also, like, Mario Kart 64 review will be coming out soon, and I'll explain why I've reviewed it in the video, and I want it to kind of look better. I want that series of videos to look nice. I want people to, like, when they watch it, think nice production values, nice writing, and all of that. And I'm making an active effort to improve that. I've actually re-recorded that review about 3 times because I wasn't ever happy with it. Now I've changed the whole set of the. I want to call it I'll just call it a show. I've kind of changed the look of it. There's a TV in the back. Like, you'll see it when it comes out, but that's what I want to do with that from now on. And the hoppage is like another step towards that, because I also want to make my new Let's Plays. The ones that you've been seeing are old, from my old channel, you know, like the Ocarina of Time one, the unfinished Majora's Mask one. I will be finishing that one day with a new person to commentate with. If you've been following this channel, you know who that new person is. But what I'll be doing for that is basically getting to the following pretty much what I was doing in the videos, getting to the same point and then just starting over like that, and just carrying on like nothing ever happened. And I'm looking forward to that because I do want to finish Majora's Mask. It is a game that deserves a good Let's Play. It deserves effort. It deserves it. It deserves to be finished. And some other potential ones that I do want to do, I want to focus on like GameCube games and N64 games, just because they're games that I grew up on and I have a lot to say about them, memories and that to share. So for example, I want to do Star Fox Adventure, Star Fox Assault, but every Star Fox game, because I'm a huge fan of that franchise as well. Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, and as a special kind of thing, I'll be getting into doing Mario Party sessions with my brother and some other people I've got to find. But like, I want to do that because like I've seen other people do it, like SGB, and it looks fun. And it sounds like it could be funny for you people. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm doing what I want to do. But if you people don't like it, tell me. Tell me what you want me to do. Tell me how you want me to improve. Tell me what I should do to make you feel like it's worth your time watching it. Because that's what matters to me most of all. Is like this commentary, I always feel a little bit guilty releasing these because it sounds like there's no effort going into them. It's just me speaking over a shitty piece of TV. But like, if you want it, if you want to hear me talk about it, just say, you know what I mean? I've got like loads of free time at the minute. I'm taking a little bit of break from college. And I'll say this, I'll try and keep my upload schedule consistent with what it is, like 1 episode per weekday, then weekends off. But I might be changing it to 3 episodes for a weekday, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and still keep the weekends off, because I'm going to have not a lot of free time in the coming weeks because of college. But I'm trying to keep a backlog, so like you'll always have stuff to watch. Never worry about that. It's my problem, and if something bad happens, like my internet goes down, I want to make sure you guys have stuff to watch, because that's important to me. Now this is actually, getting back to the episode quick before I go back into future plans. So this is a moment I really do like. It's a nice, touching little moment between Tigress and Shifu, and as characters' relationships go, they don't get enough. That does not get enough screen time, I feel, and it's important. You know, they're father and daughter, pretty much. I say pretty much because the way the films would tell it is like they're not. I don't know. It's in a weird way where the first film clearly showed you that she was adopted, and if that didn't show you, then her segment of Secrets of the Furious 5 did. She's clearly his daughter. She's clearly adopted and all of that. They just don't talk about it enough, and besides like body language and just lack of dialogue between them, it's kind of, I want to see that elaborated on. I want to see in the third film, if I could like pick a scene that I want to see most in the third film, it would be, how does Poe seeing his real father, how does Poe seeing his family, how does that affect his relationship with Ping? How does that affect Tigress's relationship with Shifu? Does that make Shifu feel bad? This is important character stuff that I want to see, and I don't want to sound entitled because I get that it's a film for kids ultimately, and there has to be some things in there. But I want to see these characters developed. I want to see how their experiences in the films have changed them. That's what I want to see. It's interesting. We saw from the first film how Shifu changed from being quite grumpy, bitter, and just generally unlikable to the second film. This was even shown physically because he had a limp. So he had a limp in the first film, and then he doesn't in the second. You know what I mean? It's little things like that, and he had a hunch, I think, in the first film. Just like the way he walks was kind of a bit gimpy. Oh, probably not the best choice of words there, sorry. Probably walked a bit in kind of a dodgy way, and like it was kind of implied that like the weight of his entire long relationship had like physically crippled him. It's kind of like House in that way. Like House's leg, while there is a legitimate injury there, the pain of like his life, the pain that he feels is what is physically making the pain manifest, if you know what I mean. And that was interesting. That was nice to see, because it didn't tell you in your face, like when you were watching the films, oh, my leg is better. It was a nice subtle little thing that people could pick up on. And I like that type of storytelling. You know, don't spoon feed me it. Just show me it. You don't need to tell me it. That's the ultimate rule I feel that people need to adhere to when they're telling films, by the way. Show, do not tell. Don't tell me that Tigress and Poe are friends. You know, show me that in 2. They did that. They showed that they've worked together. They showed that they clearly practiced Kung Fu together because of the way they fought in the Musicians Village. Stuff like that I feel is important because it lends, I'll say replayability then, it lends a rewatchability to it that I think is really, really great. So, like, going back to my future plans, like, I'll keep trying to, like, upload consistently, but I'm just saying, don't be shocked by, like, if there's only 3 videos a week. There will always be at least 1 video a week. I will always make that a priority, whether it be a review, a bad fanfiction reading, a commentary, just anything. Really, anything to keep your interest, anything to entertain you, that is the most important thing. As long as you are entertained by what I'm providing, then I'm happy. I think this is kind of an interesting character dilemma, really. Tigress and that are quite willing to they're quite willing to like let Shifu die just so that they can win. But okay, maybe not willing, but they kind of have to do it. It's kind of ironic that Poe actually has a change of heart and wants to help, but doesn't. And fucking hell, that was a leap. And something I feel like this episode really kind of fails at is like, that's lazy editing, by the way, and lazy like animation there, not showing them hitting. That's really lazy there. Something that I feel this episode ultimately fails at is like, I don't feel the impact of this. Like, this just feels like another episode. It could have been really epic and dark, and go to these places. Like, is it worth sacrificing pretty much our father figure for it? Is it worth doing that? You know, it could have been that dark kind of thing, but it just kind of pushes out and like, no, got to keep it safe for the children. That was my really bad attempt at a Jerry kind of Lewis thing. Yeah, see this Hero's Chi concept? You will never see it ever again. Well done, Shifu, you fucked it. And that's the end of Kung Fu Panda, kids. Poe dies. Don't feel too sad, guys. He actually fucked you over. He's the reason he's dead. It's his own fault. See, this is what I mean, like, their friend is dead. The Dragon Warrior is, like, to them, he's dead. And they don't seem to, apart from Shifu, they just don't seem to care. I mean, like, I'm not asking for, like her levels of, depression, and, like, just, like, oh, like, the world's ended, like, but come on, guys, a little bit. And this, to me, this is a bit out of the, like, a bit out of left field to me. Demons in a jar, pretty much. I mean, like, come on, I know it's Kung Fu Panda, but there's got to be a line there, guys. I liked the idea that, like, I know the Kung Fu skills are a bit over the top. I'm not in any way, like, denying that. But I always felt like there was a level of, like, verisimilitude to it. Like, they were only doing stuff, like, in their own, like, kind of skill set, if you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, I can't really elaborate any further than that, because I don't even know what I'm saying. But, like, I don't know, but ghosts, demons, it's just, no. Seriously? I love how, like, in Ping's restaurant, they reused that set there because they literally couldn't afford to use any other kind. And this apocalyptic thing, this is interesting. I like the idea that the five they actually don't know what to do apart from run away, because they can't win. Can I just say, I'm glad we only have, like, a couple of minutes left, because my voice is really going at this point, because I've talked so much about this franchise. I have some more stuff to say about it, but I'm going to say, like, my voice is starting to go, and I do kind of a little bit regret doing it. I mean, like, as I was saying about the impact of the emotional moments, this is the moment I'm referring to specifically. Poe is going to die here. He's dead. You know what I mean? Like, but it feels like that groan when he got up wasn't like, like on the edge of death. It was kind of like, oh, I'm getting up because I don't want to go to school, Mum. These lines readings are so bad as well. It's kind of an interesting idea, though, that the peach tree has a greater focus, so it has a greater meaning than anything else. And as a nice little touch, the peach tree that was actually standing there was the one from the seed that Shifu planted in the first film. You know, when he swung to Oogway about, like, how Poe can't be anything more than a peach, and he punches the ground and puts the seed in. That is actually that peach tree, because the original one that was there died with Oogway. And I like that. That's a nice idea. Like it's a new age, so a new peach tree is there. It's the old peach tree has died because it pretty much was Oogway. Was with that, seriously, that face by Tigress, that I don't understand what that was trying to convey. Was it sadness? Or did she really need a shit? That face as well! There's a bit in a minute coming up that, I swear to God, this is one of the, like, I hate the Poe Tigress thing, by the way, the romance thing. I don't like talking about it, it is uncomfortable. But, like, this is a moment in a minute is one of the ones people point to when they say, like, oh, they're meant to be together. Which is fine, you can have your own opinions on that. But don't use this as a moment, because the rest of the episode has been about how much she thinks he's an idiot. This is, like, not this bit now, this really great animation, but the music ultimately lets it down, because it needed that epicness that the Hans Zimmer usually brings it, and it was a bit disappointing, really, because, like I said, the animation is nice, and this moment between Poe and Tigress is actually nice, but, like, see what I mean? That moment there, that hug, I felt like that was a moment ultimately that should have been used in the film, but, like, the way that Tigress talks and acts towards Poe in this series doesn't give any indication that she likes him. She really doesn't like him. I'm sorry, like, you can argue it any way you want, but watch this series and look me in the face and say that she likes him as a friend. She despises him. in the films, like, they ultimately grow to be friends, but, like, in this series, like, she hates him. She thinks he's an oaf. He doesn't deserve it, apart from in Chain Reaction, and pretty much any episode that focuses on them. She just legitimately hates him, and, like, Inconsistency. Thy name is Legends of Awesomeness. Oh yeah, you know that enemy we've been building up for about 30 minutes and has totally taken over the world? Yep, he's going to go in about 3. Another reason why this episode needed to be about an hour is because you needed to make Keepar. Okay, maybe not an hour, but you need an extra 5 minutes to make it feel like Keepar was actually a threat worth putting in the episodes. When his fight takes about 2 minutes, I'm sorry, no, I don't think I know any like. Okay, like, another good example of what I'm talking about is in Spider-Man 3, the Venom fight. Venom was built up through that entire film to be Spider-Man's better. But, like, the fight between them lasts about a minute. They don't even exchange punches, really. Topher Grace looks at him and goes, like, "Oh, it's good to be bad." That really awful line. And then Spider-Man blows him up, and that's pretty much it. I mean, like, James Franco gets killed, and I like James Franco, so that wasn't great. But look, where did Keepar come from? Thank you, Berserker Freak. You're making me actually, like, question my own existence. It won't. There's a film after this, Keepar. Of course he has. Keepar is going to beat Poe black and blue. See, look, that's a nice idea. The idea that it's a dragon with telekinetic powers. That's awesome. That is well within the realms of weird that I enjoy. But, like, and I could see it working in this TV show. But the demons, the silliness, just the general awkward tone shifts, and like it. Oh no, just no. This is straight out of Dragon Ball Z. I thought his hero's chi was drained. I'm glad they actually did get that line in, because I don't know how many times he actually says it in the TV show. But, like, I mean, look at that. That was, like, such an anticlimax. I do like that. That art there is pretty nice, because it is quite consistent with the art that's in the art book for the concept art. Okay, so we're kind of getting to the end now, so I want to wrap up. I really don't like this episode. Actually, I think this was the first episode I really hated because this was like the third one I watched, and it was one of the ones that I really hated. And it hasn't gotten any better. I'd actually say it's gotten worse. And this commentary, I got to admit, at points, I really didn't want to do it, because, like, I didn't want to watch it. Because it's not even like, because I was dreading it, I just didn't want to watch it. I just knew it wasn't worth my time going back to it whatsoever. Because it's a request, though, I've done it. And I hope you enjoyed the commentary, but we're pretty much at the end now. So I'll see you next time when we hopefully look at a better episode of Legend of Awesomeness, or better yet, I never have to watch one ever again.